Although this is a political moment as we ramp up to the 2024 election, the fact of the matter is that the typical American, not the person that you would encounter on television, but the typical American is not very interested in politics.
Either you don't support women's
Trump
rights
just
or
because
you
I
want
like
to
Trump because he did what he
kill
said.
babies.
The Republican
He was
Party
gonna
continues
do
to
it.
back
And he did what he said.
but
I think
that's-
he
they're
can.
gonna
His
put
policy
back
should
for
rule
a
the day.
much
Either of
better-
those categories.
Are you paying attention to the politics?
Yes,
What do you think of upcoming election?
it's going to put in mind it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping that there's no hitches like what happened in 2016.
Le gusta Trump?
Yes.
¿Por qué?
Porque me parece que es un buen presidente.
Ajá.
Y la economía con Trump puede avanzar un poco más de lo que vamos.
Pero a Trump no le gustan latinos.
Sí, pero yo soy en la parte que he investigado, que he visto de Trump. Creo que por lo menos va a tener consideraciones con lo que ya hemos sacado papeles.
Do you pay attention to who will be the next president potentially?
I think probably Trump. Probably Trump, yeah.
Does that mean you think he'll win or would you like him to win?
Yeah, we like him to win.
Yeah, because right now the pricing going up, everything expensive. Wherever you go, if you're paying for food or something, everything expensive. Where you going to go?
You think if Trump will be back to power, everything will get cheaper?
I guess so.
That's what we think.
That's what he's claiming, and that's what we expect from him. Right now, there are taxes on everything, literally everything.
This is a referendum on the American people. And if Trump... Probably Trump. There's only one issue, and that's democracy or fascism. It's just the decision people have to make. My father spent 1.5 years in Europe fighting fascists. We thought we won that war. Now they're back.
My sister and I are very liberal. We live here in Harrisburg, and the rest of the family is not. And politics became something that we stopped discussing after Trump got elected the first time, and we've never been able to pick it up again.
The most popular flag right now is the Trump Vance flag or Fight, Fight, Fight flag after the shooting and the assassination attempt.
Do you think Trump will be able to carry Pennsylvania?
I think he can, yes, he can. His policies should rule the day.
But Harris is an exciting candidate, right? She could be the first woman. Like, we should have had a woman president way long ago. That's super exciting. And she's a person of color, which is also extremely exciting. So I think it could usher in a really, really positive era, inspire a lot of kids.
Having a two-party system that have these massive organizations that filter through the candidates that they really want inevitably devolves into mudslinging at the other candidate rather than having a real debate about issues. It's a game of don't vote for that guy because he's worse than our guy.
I like Trump because he did what he said he was going to do. He did what he said he was going to do. we were in a much better position when he was president. Someday I would like to see a female president. Someday.
What do you think still the issues that a Democrat, lifelong Democrat and lifelong Republican can sit down and agree on?
You know, in my opinion, I'm not sure if there's anything. I do know that they both talk about the immigration problem, so that might be a start.
What would be the issues that you totally disagree with Kamala's agenda?
The woke stuff.
I'm sorry?
The woke stuff. The open borders. Parents' rights to have some say-so in their children.
Males in athletics. That's disgusting.
Transgenders, you mean?
Yes.
There's something really satisfying about the prospect of Donald Trump losing to a woman because he's been so misogynist. And there's something very encouraging about him losing because of his racist rhetoric.
We are liberal and we voted for Kamala.
And my feeling about the election, I was in a lecture the other day with a former pollster, and he asked us all to put in our phone the one word that summed up what we were thinking. Mine was fear. All the words came up as he was doing it. So there was fear, scary, anxiety. Just everybody was kind of there.
We are right now a slightly blue state, but it could flip, particularly if a compelling moderate candidate showed up. I think you'd get a lot of people this election. I'm personally more on fiscal policy than social policy. If I have to choose, I'm going to choose take care of that. We can run the country properly, then we'll figure out what to do with some of the stickier issues. That's not what I'm seeing from really either of the candidates right now.
Would it be appropriate to ask who did you cast the ballot for in presidential?
It is Donald Trump. It wasn't as affected by his loudmouth as much, and I know a lot of Harris's politics, and she's purposely bent the rules to get what she wants.
This year I wasn't really planning on voting. Then you just have to think it's like you're just picking the lesser of two evils, in my opinion. If it's too bad, then you just take the lesser of the bad, in my opinion.
Would you share who's the lesser of two evil in your opinion?
I chose to go for Kamala Harris.
Well, let's kind of recount how those divisions occurred, because of course, for something like gun rights, they did not exist in the early 1970s. There was no party dispute on gun rights. There was not much of a party dispute on abortion. But once political entrepreneurs saw that there was an opportunity, for example, in the Reagan Revolution, to galvanize homeschoolers, gun rights advocates, Christian conservatives around these kinds of cultural issues and bring them into the Republican Party. They made that move, and then liberals on their side basically took the opposite view to make in some sense, resulting in parties that are much more ideologically polarized now than they ever were when I was a boy. There used to be liberal Republican governors. There used to be conservative Democratic governors. Those people are gone now. They've all been essentially relocated to the other party and told, you can't win a primary in this party now. After the 2000 election, both parties basically declared that there weren't very many undecided voters left, that both camps had essentially polarized into their stalwart partisan supporters, and the way to win elections was not to reach out to the other side with moderate policies, but instead to bring a bigger army to the battlefield through voter mobilization. Both parties are ideologically split is a kind of feature of American politics now. And it also accounts for why it is that you have such a difficult time obtaining any kind of bipartisan consensus among policymakers in Congress, because they know that to the extent that they start reaching over the divide to the other party to form a winning coalition, they're going to be denounced as traitors by their own party. In general, when it comes to politics, do you think of yourself as a Democrat, Republican, Independent, or what? People tend to be very stable in their responses over their lifetimes. It's not that change never occurs, but when change occurs, it's usually because their social location has changed. For example, they've married someone from a different group, or they've moved to a job where they're now in regular contact with people from the other party. There's no third party unless the Constitution is going to be changed, and the Constitution isn't going to be changed.
Either you don't support women's rights or you want to kill babies. And I don't think anybody that's being honest or reasonable would fall in either of those categories. So it's an absurd premise to begin with.
Well, I think that it's dangerous in the sense that it gives elite leaders of the party who might have very short-term personal incentives to engage in reckless behavior, an incentive to engage in reckless behavior, right? To the extent that they're incentivized to do extreme things in the hopes of winning elections or creating winning coalitions, that's the danger of it.